Welcome to the Coriolis Effect with Cory Oliver.
Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver. Thanks for watching the Coriolis Effect. Please hit the subscribe button below, and we hope you like this episode. Hi guys, we wanted to announce that like many podcasters, we just started a Patreon account. Visit our page at patreon.com/the Coriolis Effect. We have 5 different levels of membership and offer early access to episodes, behind-the-scenes footage, bonus episodes, shoutouts, and much more, including personal phone calls, questions and answer sessions, and live chats with Bob and me. That's patreon.com/the Coriolis Effect. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Tex. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You got to do it when I was wearing that. I would go, ma'am,
Sir. This is for all of you cowboys out there.
Why don't you
Bob,
tell the people who don't listen to the video or don't watch the video what we're doing?
Well, I have a cowboy hat on, which, by the way, is straight out of Nashville from Bob Victor himself.
Or Oklahoma.
Oh, it's Oklahoma.
It's
okay,
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, sir. But it's hard.
Yeah.
It's like a hard hat.
It's a cheapo. I mean, the real hats that are like made out of felt or whatever they're made out of, they're like anywhere from $75 to $300.
Irina said that doesn't matter. They're all still pretty hard. They hold their shape.
When you first get them. Yeah.
Okay.
And you're right. They want to hold shape. That was $14.
Oh, well, I like it.
Every penny of it.
Do you like it?
I do.
I like it too, and it fits me. So thank you.
You're welcome.
For my commemorative.
Tex. Is there a female version of Tex, like Texia?
I don't know. That's actually a really good question.
Yes. I have a lot of good questions.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, who's on today?
Well, today we
Hope
have...
he's got a sense of humor.
I know, right? Well, didn't you notice my T-shirt?
It says loyal, right?
It says loyal.
Right.
Yes, which is a little bit to do with our guest today. He is the runner-up on Survivor Samoa, the second runner-up for Survivor Heroes and Villains. He completed Redemption Island and Australian Survivor Champions versus Contender.
Like his day job is he goes on Survivor?
He is a phenomenal player. He's considered the villain. But you know what? Russell Hantz. He's on the show today. He's very, very smart. Very he's one of the nicest guys. And people look at him as such a villain, and just goes to show you what, the media and network and what they can do to create this, persona and this character.
The way they edit it and what they tell him to say.
Of course. But he actually really is a nice guy. And he was kind enough to agree to come on today. So he'll be on via Zoom. I did not wear this hat for him, but I did wear my shirt loyal because he was a loyal Survivor contestant. Yes. Why can't I get that word out? I keep wanting to say contender, but it's contestant. So, yeah. Okay. So I'm wearing this hat, though, because you and Irina just got back from Nashville, and it's actually your hat. So I grabbed it.
Keep it on for the show.
No, not the whole show.
The whole show.
No way.
Every second of the show.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'll just draw it in After Effects afterwards.
Oh, my gosh.
No, come on, wear it. Looks good on you.
The whole show.
The whole stinking show. The whole stampeding, rootin', tootin',
okay,
knee-slapping show.
What was it like in Nashville?
It was...
Would I like it?
Humid.
Yes, humid.
It was very... First of all, we went down to Broadway, and it's a street of maybe 3-4 blocks, maybe 30 bars. Every one of them is live music. Everyone's got the windows and doors open. All you hear is music and music and music. And you'd walk into like this hole-in-the-wall bar where there's one guy and 2 people. No, he's like one of the best singers you've ever seen.
Wow.
They're just all, it's very...
Did you go to Santa's?
Fish in Big Pond.
Karaoke?
We went to a karaoke. We went to the something Beaver, like the Pink Beaver, I think it was, which is a pretty karaoke. It's a well-known karaoke place, which is, and they have a mechanical bull.
Did you do it?
No. I have done it, and Irina's done it, but I have a friend, Lance, who has one at his house.
Okay. Wow.
And I would ride it on like 4 and be thrown off, and his, at the time, 11-year-old daughter would ride it on like 9 and hold on no problem. So
yeah, I'm not even going to attempt that. Yeah. I'd throw like my back out.
So there's one girl that was riding it, and we videotaped her, and she was really, really good. And she came up and asked for a copy of the video. I said, sure, I'll send it to you. And I said, have you done that before? She goes, oh, I break bulls for a living. So she lives in Georgia, and literally somebody will get a bull that's completely untrained. She will go in there and spend 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks and break the bull So then it can be used in the rodeo. So she rides the bull before it gets to the rodeo people. And she takes it down from this like beast. She gets it to know each other and everything else.
That's brutal.
Yeah, she knew her stuff.
Wow.
And she went to the guy before he started. The guy controls the bull.
Yeah. She
said, I ride bulls for a living. Don't let me be bored out there. And the guy was like, putting it up there, and she's holding on, doing the whole thing. So
she's probably just methodical and just is one with the bull.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, you have to be. Otherwise, you'll just...
Yeah, but you can't be one with the mechanical bull once she stayed on that for a while, too. So.
Wow, good for her. We'll have to get her on the show. Can you come on the show?
Can she be on the show? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I will find you her name. At least her first name.
Also, I'll just say about Russell Hantz.
Kayla.
Okay. he was indicted
It's the girl on the bull rider.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Bob.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We'll see you soon,
her
Russell.
Her name is Kayla. All right. See you soon.
Okay.
Attention, Nashville, Tennessee area drivers. Commodore Express, Central Tennessee's premier refrigerated truckload carrier, is actively hiring CDL drivers. Are you in a dead-end job? Tired of not being able to get the miles you want? We hear those complaints regularly from applicants who need to work with a solid company who can help them be successful by providing an open line of communications, a solid, reasonable amount of weekly miles, weekly home time, and a consistent paycheck month after month. We're currently hiring team drivers for our West Coast weekly runs. This is an out-and-back operation, 5 on, 2 off schedule, weekly home time, average 4,500 plus miles per week, full benefits package, and above average pay. We can work with full-time, part-time, retired, or casual drivers. Visit our website at www.commodoreexpress.net to learn more about us and request an online application. Or call Robert in recruiting at 615-287-5140 for more information on how to get your career back on the right road to success. Commodore Express, 615-287-5140.
So, Bob, I'm very excited today to try this drink. It is called Brizo.
Brizo, okay.
Yes, and it is a health drink, and it has a lot of natural ingredients. Two of them are apple cider vinegar, which I love, and Manuka honey, which is straight from New Zealand. There's only 3 grams of sugar in this. That is amazing. This one is actually called Berry Beet. This one is pineapple turmeric. Oddly enough, I just put turmeric in my coffee this morning. Yes, I can taste the turmeric in that. These are all really good. I predict this being a big, huge hit. These are fantastic. It's on Amazon. You can get these on Amazon.
And they come in variety packs, or you can buy 1 pack of a single thing, or you can get the 4-pack.
Oh, no, I'm going to go on Amazon and get these. Brizos. These are fantastic. Thank you. Whoa, they knocked it out of the park on this. Brizo.
It's been a year and a half, so yes.
0 fat, 0 cholesterol, barely any carbohydrates, 3 grams of sugar. It has vitamin D, which is, right now it's big. We should all be taking vitamin D, calcium, iron, potassium, and vitamin C. Done. I'm getting this. This is a fantastic drink. Thank you.
Glad you like it.
Brizo. 4 different flavors. Berry beet, pineapple turmeric, ginger lemon, and pomegranate hibiscus. Wonderful. Tastes great.
Hey, Cory, let's start the show.
Okay, thank you. So excited today. I have one of reality television's greatest villains, which we're going to talk about that in a second, because I don't know. He is a big softie in my opinion, but I won't let the cat out of the bag right now yet. Russell Hantz, right?
Yeah.
That's our clap.
Give me a split second to hit the button before you look over.
I mean, honestly, I can't even believe that I have you on the show today. I've been watching you for years. You really, truly are a master of this game. I would not last 30 seconds on an island without being involved in a game, let alone on Survivor. So welcome to the Coriolis effect, Russell.
Thank you. And a lot of people say that. A lot of people say, oh, I wouldn't last a second out there. You got to realize, if you ever set your mind to it, then you can do it. Because there was some things that happened out there to me to where I was like, I can't do this. And you just fight through it. And then when you finally finish it, like they had this one challenge in the first time I played season 19, the very first challenge right out the gate. I was trying so hard in the challenge, and then I passed out after the challenge. It was like crazy hard. Once I finished the challenge, I couldn't believe, because I remember thinking while in the middle of me doing it, something came in my head and said, "You can't do this." And I was like,
really?
"Oh, I stopped," because I'm in trouble, because my body was in trouble. My stomach was weird. My stomach was contracting, like on and off. And I didn't think I'd be able to finish the challenge. And then immediately I thought, seconds after that, I'm like, "You kids are watching." So you have hundreds of people around you, but I was like, my kids are watching me right now. So there's no
motivation.
I could stop this challenge. So there's things that you think you can't do that you can.
You're right. And to your point, we just had an Olympic gold medalist on, and we talked about that, you know, sometimes your body might give up, but really the reality is they've done studies and your body might be giving up, but you can literally have 40% more.
Your mind gives
your
up,
mind can go. Yeah. So
40%.
You're right, Russell. Maybe that's the next show. You and I on this island.
Yeah. Well, we could do Amazing Race. That would be funner. A lot better. You get to
I'll do that with you.
Yeah. That would.
I'm in.
But I told there was this girl Laura I was playing with. I said, "We have an advantage out here," and she's like, "What's that?" I said, "We have kids. That's an advantage because you always think back to that. You always think of that, and it always makes you stronger." So feel sorry for the ones that don't have kids, because it's just them. They're just like, "Oh, you know, I can quit. No big deal." When you have kids and you actually quit the game, you know, walk off the game or quitting a challenge. I've always said you could quit a challenge. You could quit that game without quitting that game. Like you quit it here, you're out. You sit there all day long. You don't do anything. You just go through the process of the votes. But lots of people quit that don't actually quit.
Yeah, you're right. I have so much I want to get into today with you. I'm very, very excited. But we have a word of the day, and it's for you to try to guess what it is. It's a phobia. We do this every show. So Bob's going to play it, and then you'll guess it.
Okay,
guess
so
what it is.
Play it for you twice, spell it, and tell you
Spell it. Oh, that ain't happening.
No, you don't have to spell it.
Xylophobia. Xylophobia.
It's XYLO phobia, PHOBIA. That is the fear of what?
It's okay. I knew it was the fear of something. A phobia. The fear of.
Not the fear of xylophones.
I don't know. The fear of confined spaces.
Fear of islands. Fear of voting. A fear of xylophone? I don't know. What is it? Okay, enough.
It is the fear of the jungle.
Oh.
Or the fear of wooded areas, the fear of jungle.
Okay.
Fair enough. Okay, so let's dive in because
Let's get right over that. Now talk about it. We're done.
Well, you know, I have so much to ask Russell. We only have him for a certain amount of time, and I'm first of all, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so grateful to formally meet you. I know we connect via DMs for a while now, and you're so gracious to check in and say hello, or I'll say hello, and you know, the reality world kind of brings people together, right, indirectly, right? And so I want to just say you're the survivor villain, so they say, right, but not really. You're one of the nicest guys I've informally met. Mm-hmm. And my daughter, when I told her that, she was like, "Mom, he's like the greatest villain of all time." And I'm like, "But he's so nice." You know, she asked me, and I'll start off with her question, then I'll work backwards. But she said, how do you, I wrote it down here. She said, "How do you keep your life and your character, if you will, on, how do you differentiate them when you're at home? Because I've seen you, and you are an incredible dad. You love your kids." So
that's a good question. A lot of people don't ask that question because they think that the guy that played is who I am. They're two completely different people. Now, sometimes it intertwines with each other. If I'm tweeting something and somebody tweets about Survivor, or, you know, I'll jump back into that character. Now, at one point in the time when I got off the game, I played 2 times in a row right off the bat. And then I went back. I played 3 times in a year and a half. So I didn't understand how to get away from that character. So I was that person for about 3-4 years after the show ended, which was a terrible thing. I would never allow for that to happen again. And I learned from that. But now it's, I can jump back into the character. Let's say Probst tweets me, or somebody from the game tweets me, or somebody asking something. I can jump right back into that character pretty easily. But when I'm with my kids, they haven't even watched the show. And they're 21 years old, 22 years old. So none of my kids have watched the show. So when I'm with them or out, it's kind of weird when people come up and want a picture or autograph for them. Well, they're used to it now, but it's kind of like when it happens, and I notice this, when it happens, they never say anything. They're like, go on with whatever they're doing. They don't ask me questions about the show, which sometimes it's a little hurtful, only because I was so passionate towards it. And I'd like for my kids to be passionate as well. One day I'm sure they'll watch it and they'll ask me questions, but they don't even think about it. So when I'm with them, I'm just dad.
It's funny because it's kind of humbling, isn't it? They don't care. They're like, oh yeah, whatever. That's just my mom. That's just my dad. It's really kind of interesting, this whole other life that happens when you are.
I had a conversation with my son the other day, and he lives with me, and I'm divorced. My 2 girls are on their own. My smallest, she lives with her mother, and my son lives with me. So I asked him the other day, I'm like, aren't you? Because it bothers me a little bit, to tell you the truth. I'm like, don't you wonder, like, all this talk about your dad? Like, don't you want to watch it? I mean, if my dad was on the show, I think that I'd be like super into it, like trying to find out what he did, what he said, stuff like that. And I did some negative things, but they know that I was playing the game out there. They get that. So I'm okay. I'm okay with everything I did on the show because of I did it. There's 2 things I would have never done on the show. Well, there's one thing really that I would never do on the show, and that's swear on Christ. That's the only thing. And I told Mark Burnett that from the get-go. I said, good for you. There's one thing I will not do on this show, and that's it. I'll swear on anything else, but I'm not gonna make that move. And he said, okay. This was in casting. He said, okay, you do it right now. I'll write you a check for $1 million right now. And he reaches out for his checkbook. And I said, you could write me a check for $1 billion. I said, write it.
Amen.
I'll show you that I'll tear it up in your face. So
I absolutely love that. And what's interesting about that is Mark and Roma are big believers. And so I love that he was testing your faith, but that the truth is, that's internal. That's something that I love that story. That's amazing. That's a cliffhanger. That's a great.
I just thought that, there's certain things that we have in this world, and there's certain things that we cannot cross that line ever. And
compromising
we make mistakes all the time. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, but that's a mistake that I'm not willing to make. So
amen. I'm proud of you for that. A lot of people would have taken that check, and it's there's no amount of money on your salvation, right? So Russell, I want to go back because these are some of the things that I'm just interested in personally, to your very first moment when you said, hey, I see this, they're auditioning for this show. What was that? What was that about? How did you hear about it? What was your audition like? And did you know when you were entering into this that you would be so good at this game?
I mean, my buddy was on Survivor's Fiji, and he played, and then all of a sudden he got one of his buddies, he was acquaintance of mine, but more friends with my buddy Boo, and his name was James. And James got on, and he was fan favorite. Like he looked like a Greek god. This dude is shredded. I mean, it was crazy. Big James from
Yeah.
Okay, so he played, and then when he played, I'm thinking, because I'm Boo's best friend, I'm like, Boo, I mean, where's my opportunity? When are you going to do that for me? Because I don't have what they used to look for. Back in the day when they did all Real Worlds and Road Rules and all this, the early times of you're in the business of, typecasting. You see it in California for sure. There's typecasting. And there's typecasting, and I didn't think that they were looking for a guy like me. So I knew that if I went in there like a bull in a china cabinet, that was my only option. So that's what I did. And it was the whole process was crazy. The whole casting process, you're dealing with, there's what they do in Survivor. They put you in a chair.
No, I want to talk about this because I've never really known what the audition process looks like for Survivors.
What they do is first you send a 3-minute tape. If they like the tape, which I didn't send it for Survivor, I sent it for a show called Pirate Masters because I'm more of a pirate looking kind of guy than the Survivor thing. And I
don't know. I'm going to stop you right there for 1 second. You're a very, very good looking man, and those eyes, and I mean, yeah. I think you're too hard on yourself. So
it was. Well, it's just I know what they asked for. I mean, it's always the same type looking guy, always the guys that wear the little man bun and shredded at 6'3". Those guys. That's a perfect cast with a little bit of accent. That would be perfect. That's what that's their guy.
Yeah.
So, but I was now I'm a whole cast. For now, they look for people like me.
Like you, yeah.
Tony. They look for the aggressive types, short, stocky, aggressive guy that's just going to roll over you and he just doesn't care. They cast that now. So I think things are changing in the world of casting, though.
I think so too. I mean, I've certainly never tried out for Survivor again. You're right. I probably could survive. I've survived far worse in my own life, right? But it's not something I probably I couldn't mentally play the game. Maybe I could. I don't know. Maybe if I, were on a team, which we're going to talk about that in a second. But you were inducted into the Survivor Hall of Fame in 2010.
Right.
What was that like? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was the even cooler. I was nominated for a Teen Choice Award and a People's Choice Award for biggest villain in TV. Like not just reality TV. Like the guy from remember that show where what was that show? Lost? Where they playing the guy that turned into that was animal.
Yes.
Whatever, he beat me. So it's like they had a witch. I was the only reality star actually on that. But no, it's the Hall of Fame thing. It's I think later on as time goes on, when Survivor gets older and older and it gets more and more respect, especially when it gets off of the air, and then people realize that Survivor is the reason a lot of these shows were able to happen. I think that things will be, get a little bit more respect when it comes to that.
I was reading through some of your tweets and somebody had asked you, and I'm just curious, who your, what did they say? They asked who your dream team would be.
Right. Yeah. Well,
who is that?
My dream team would probably be the people that I can trust and the people that couldn't get me further in the game. Because if you just picked all your buddies out there, then you're just gonna, you're gonna lose every challenge. And when you lose a challenge, you got to go to the end and vote someone. You got to go to a tribal and vote someone out. So you don't want to. You want to pick people, but fortunately, my friends are pretty, tough when it comes to the challenges. Boo was one of the all-time challenge guys. James, nobody can handle James, and with a hand-to-hand type combat type situation. And Yeah, it would be those two for sure. Then I would probably the all-time greatest challenge guy would probably be Ozzy. I'd pick him, and I would pick one of the man bun guys, and that probably would be Joe. Would definitely be the one I'd pick because I think that I could trust him a little bit more. And then the girls, I would pick a girl named Krista because I know I could trust her. She was on one of my seasons. Her name was Krista Klump on my 3rd season I played. Michaela Wingle,
Yes.
I would pick her because me and her used to talk a little bit. I know I could trust her. Plus, she was that lingerie football thing. Like, she's tough. She's a tough girl. Then I would pick Kim, which would be a shock because I know she'd be coming after me sooner or later, but she's tough in challenges. Laura Moret, which everybody would freak out about because she was after me, but she's so good in challenges. I would want to pick her. And my last one would Sandra, because I have somebody to vote out first.
Sorry, Sandra. Did you, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but that's how these podcasts kind of go. Did you, well, first of all, you're a Houston Astros fan.
Well, yes, I used to be a huge Houston Astros fan. Huge.
You're not anymore. Did you jump ship?
Well, it kind of upset me when they, the whole season, they cheated. The whole season.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, yeah, that's a.
It just kind of it rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not saying I'm more of an Astro fan than anything else, but I was an Astro fan. I was a huge Houston Oilers fan. I went to LSU. Go Tigers. So,
yeah.
Went to LSU, so I'm definitely a LSU fan.
Awesome. Did you get a lot of flack for eating freckles?
Eating who?
Freckles.
Who's Freckles?
You're a little chicken that you guys ate.
Oh yeah, well, they named it. I didn't name it. I tell you,
that was really kind of something. It's like at this point, when you're on an island, you'll eat anything.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story with the chicken thing, and it was it was. I thought like this may be rough to some people in the audience, but this is what happened. I went to go get the chicken, right? I've raised chickens all my life. My dad used to do all that stuff. So I went to get the chicken, and I know you grab a chicken by the feet, and then he's more relaxed. He's not going to move around or nothing. But I grabbed him. When I grabbed him by the head or by his body, he went up and he, I don't know what I should say. He went up and we was killing it. We was eating it no matter what, right?
Right.
It was happening. The chicken, he only had a couple of minutes to live. That's it. So when I grabbed him,
Bob's laughing. The show's called Survivor for a reason.
The chicken didn't survive.
You trust me. I don't care who you are. I went 10 days at one time without eating anything. 10 days.
Wow.
But so when I grabbed the chicken, he went up and none of this was being filmed. And he scratched me. And I mean, he scratched me good. So then immediately in my head, I thought, this chicken, because I just got in big trouble and almost got evacuated from my first season because I got an infection in my finger because I grabbed a crab and the crab bit me. And so I was already shell shocked. I was like, I passed out. They lanced my finger. Like you can see in the episodes, all of a sudden you see bandages on my finger. And, people are like, what happened with the bandages? How that happen? Well, that was all off camera too, but it was super close for me because I got an infection that was going down my hand. So
that's scary.
I was shell shocked already. And the chicken hits me right here. And I immediately grab him by the foot and I hit him up against a tree. Like 3 times.
So actually, it was probably more humane than anything. I mean, it was
self-defense. But when I did that, Courtney and Parvati were like they were right there. When I did that, they were like both of them just looking at me, and I'm like, "You're gonna eat it."
Yeah.
Then I started worrying because they started asking questions about that off camera. So I was like, man, I'm like, maybe I'll get a free life supply for Popeyes or something. I don't know.
For getting not cat scratch, but chicken scratch fever.
Did you get any in any trouble with PETA or any of these organizations call you up and say, how did you do that?
It wasn't aired, and I was worried about it because they started asking me. Anytime they start asking you questions, when you're doing side interviews with them about these moments, then they're thinking about editing this in. Well, they didn't edit it in, so if they would,
well, the truth is,
I mean, the truth, I was hungry, and I was shell shocked, and I thought I had to take him out. I was like, he's about to take me out this game. I got to take this chicken out.
Oh, clearly it was him or you.
I got to take this chicken.
Definitely him or me. So.
Well, truthfully, you fed a lot of mouths that night, and everybody was happy. I saw it. I watched that, and
y'all ate the chicken.
Yeah, I'll eat the chicken. I mean, there's not a lot of, at this point, if you are on an island and you haven't eaten for 10 or 15 days and you are a vegan or vegetarian, you quickly become a meat eater, I would imagine.
I would do things a little different now. Let's say we had a baby goat or something like that. I wouldn't want to kill the goat. Like, I've been through the system so much.
Yeah.
I still would try to save the chicken. Now I would try to, see, I was different then too than I am now. It's like my whole, everything's changed how I would do things. I don't think I would kill the chicken now. I would try to save the chicken. So
you
it's
see
weird.
that? In life we learn and we go through things and it changes us. That's interesting.
Yeah, so
even if it scratched you, huh?
That chicken may have died to save another one's life. Just saying.
That's true. This is true. So what have you been up to since the last Survivor, which was that Australian Survivor, champions versus contenders?
Australian Survivor. That's another. I don't usually say, when they say how many times you play Survivor, I say 3 times. I don't say 4 because it wasn't Survivor. Everything about that was fake. We had a toilet out there. We had a toilet paper, a toilet. We had fruits. We had bottled water. It was a camping trip. So when I started saying this, and I have a YouTube channel called The Russell Hantz Show, when I started saying this on my YouTube channel, like huge people from the media wanted to interview me about what really goes on out there. They give you 5 sets of clothing. They give you rice and beans right off the bat. We had a flint. We had the torp right off the bat. When I played Survivor, we had no torp. We went nothing. We went, I think, 3 weeks. We had to win it, and then I didn't eat for 10 days because we didn't have a flint, and it was we didn't get rice and beans to begin with. You sure don't have a toilet, and then I was so upset because the way if you watch me play, I use the elements. I use everything around me to get further in the game. It's just it's how it makes me stronger, and I know it makes you weaker, so that makes me stronger. So I like when it's raining all the time. I like when we don't have food. And why
do you think they changed it? Why do you think they implemented it? Bigger budget, or were there people getting sick, or what was the?
That's Australian Survivor. That's not.
I see.
So
okay,
their version of Survivor isn't what Mark Burnett and Jeff Probst has it to be. So. Okay. It's who's ever running the show over there. That's why, Yeah,
I mean, you can clearly see here people lose weight within the first 2 weeks. They're
losing there because you eat rice and beans, you're still going to lose weight if that's all you're eating every day. And they give you some fruit every day. But I told her, I was like, look, I said, you guys have a toilet out here. I mean, she's like, well, she was getting upset with me. She was the executive producer. She's like, what do you want us to do? Let everybody just crap in the woods, Russell? And I'm like, he said, that ain't going to make no difference. That ain't going to make no difference. And I'm like, so you're telling me, because we had Miss Universe out there with me. So I said, so you're telling me if you have Miss Universe crapping in the woods, wiping her butt with a leaf, that ain't going to make no difference in her mind? I said, it messes with them mentally. Yes, it's going to make a huge difference.
Yes, a huge difference.
I mean,
I camped my whole childhood, so it would have been fine for me, but I totally think you're right. You're right.
No, it'd make it. I mean, you have to, first of all, when you go to the bathroom, you have to make sure you go by leaves that aren't poisonous, number one. And number two, that they're big, not crackly leaves.
Yeah, because poison oak is no bueno in any area, let alone there.
Stay away from the pine needles and.
Oh my goodness! So that is safe to say that Australian Survivor was not necessarily your favorite.
No, I didn't play Survivor. Like that was a camping trip. I got to go camping with Miss Universe. That's what that was.
Bob, aren't you jealous?
What year? Miss Universe, what year?
She was the Australian Universe. I don't even know. I don't even know.
Wow. So what was, for me, when I think of Survivor, and I think, well, could I do that show? I think,
No.
I actually
You
think I
think you could?
I've survived 2 marriages,
tell you what.
so 2 divorces, not my choice. So I could survive Survivor. However, let me just finish this one.
I want you to live in your backyard for 3 weeks.
I'm a camper, but what I immediately think of is what is poisonous out there and what's not. They did this show called Naked and Afraid, and the producer on his first scouting location got bit by a snake and almost lost his foot.
Right.
And so, that's what I would be more concerned with. How do you tell when you're out there?
So now they do it in Fiji, and Fiji has no snakes, none, because they started these little animals out in Fiji. They released these a long time ago. I don't know what they're called. They're like between
rodents?
a squirrel and a nutria rat or something. It's just they running all over the road. Well, a while back, long time ago, a king or whatever it was in those days, they had too many snakes, so they put all these little animals out there, and I'm sure some of your viewers will know what I'm talking about, but and they started eating the snakes. So now they're overrun with these little animals, and they have no snakes. But what they do is, before you play your 5 days in Ponderosa, before you play the game, they have somebody out there that helps different situations. They have a book to show you what fishes are poisonous, what animals, or what they have some plants you can't eat out there, just different things like that. They tell you what not to eat. And nowadays, the production and camera crew, they'll say, don't touch that. So you're in a little bit better. Back in the day, they used to not say none of that. They let you touch it.
Yeah, I was going to say, on that show Naked and Afraid, some girl ate a turtle and was just about died while the cameras were rolling from some kind of fever that she got from the turtle or whatever. But
Makes good TV.
Well, it does, but at the same time,
I don't blame the camera crew, because they're professionals. They're so focused in getting that scene, getting that moment. They're like in it with you, and they're just doing their job, really. I mean, if you're about to die, yes, they did. I know a few times where they said stop to a few people. It was just about to get bit, or a snake was around the corner or something like that. But I don't really blame them. The production should tell them, hey, if they're going to do something dangerous, make sure they stop. And I think that's how it is nowadays, but it used to not be like that. So
now,
you're going to do something dangerous, get it on film.
Yeah. But those would be it's first of all, the settings are usually beautiful. You're on this beautiful beach, and, there's a lot of great people there. And I'm sure there's a whole crew of people in the background. But are they long days, or do the days go by pretty quickly?
Slow days. Slow.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I used to wait. I couldn't wait till I would hear the birds. And I was always last to bed and first up. I already have a hard time sleeping, so I'm up, and you would hear the birds chirping before the sun comes up, and that was my favorite time. Which I would hate that nowadays if I had to wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning every day to hear the birds chirping. That's a nightmare to me now. But when you're out there, the sun's coming up, and you're freezing cold all night long, like shaking. You say it's the real deal out there. And
they don't give you blankets or anything. Nothing.
No.
I'd be curling up to 6 people. I'd be like, could you guys want to cuddle together? And
for instance, we had Natalie White from our first season that won. She's super girly girl. She is Southern to the bone. I was laying next to her, and she would, if I touched her, she'd be like, can you scoot over a little bit, please? Can you? She didn't want to be touched. And by the end of that first night, she was on top of me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you please hold me? Can you please? Like, it's so cold.
Of course, and that's the best way to do it is get some body heat. I mean,
at one point in time, I was blowing out. You know how when it's cold and you blow out smoke? I was soaking wet, able to do that. And I still had, all night to go for the.
Oh, those are long nights.
Those are long. We had one night where Parvati, Sandra, and Courtney all were crying like they. Now, I'm going to give you some inside info here. This has never been said. I'll go ahead and say it here. My first season I played, we didn't get no special treatment. None. The second time I played, one night, they had this one night that they wanted to quit. Everyone was quitting. Parvati was quitting. Not Amanda, but Courtney was quitting. They was like, this is messy. Why y'all doing this to us? So they gave us wood, dry wood, and fire starter, like chemicals to start the fire. And I'm like, oh, this is a special treatment you guys are getting. I just played a whole season of this, and we froze every day, and we didn't get none of this.
There's no show if the contestants quit. There's no show.
Yeah, they were going to walk off, and they demanded that they get something. And this was back when they were pretty tough on the contestants, So,
yeah.
They evacuated the cast one time. They evacuated them because of the storm. It was so bad.
Ooh.
Off of the island, and then they brought them right back. So
wow. But when they took did they take the cast and the crew, or just the crew?
Yeah, no, they took everybody. I thought they
took everybody
a couple of times, but you remember what happened in Samoa? They had what was it? Tsunami in Samoa, not
yeah.
Well, that happened a week after we left, and while we were there, it was we had an earthquake while I was laying on the ground playing the game, and I think it was a pre-tremor that was about to happen.
Oh my gosh!
It hit our Ponderosa. It was all underwater. We were right where it hit.
Oh my gosh!
It was so that would have been it. But I can
That's
remember
crazy.
I knew about tsunamis, and I knew the water draws back. So I remember when it happened, when it was the ground was trembling. I remember listening because I was like, if I don't hear them waves anymore, I'm heading up that mountain. Because I was just sort of listening. I was okay. We're good for now, I guess. But,
that's scary. Oh my gosh. Well, I live in LA, so it's like you never know when they're coming here either.
Y'all get it.
If you had, how many children do you have again? You have two.
Well, I have twin girls, my son and my smallest.
Four. You have twins. Oh my gosh. So if you had to sit your kids down collectively, all four of them, and you were only given one piece of advice to give to them, you were going to give them one piece of advice before they were to go on the show Survivor, what would that be? I'm going to ask you that collectively and then individually.
The main thing is to be able to always stay focused. Like when you think because everybody else lose their focus because they're so hungry. I would say, listen, when you feel like you are like wanting to quit because it's going to pass your mind, go walking and get by yourself and stay focused. Just make sure that you stay strong and always say that in your head. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Because as soon as you start saying you can't, you're out.
You won't.
Yeah, you won't.
You're right. The power of the subconscious mind is so incredible, and especially when you're on an island trying to survive.
I believe wholeheartedly that if you speak something with your mouth, that's very dangerous if you say something bad, because if you speak it, it can come to pass. So keep saying to yourself, I can do this. I can do this. So
Bob's going like this because this is what we always say on the show, is that you speak things in.
Say,
I do always say it. You speak it as though it is so, good and bad, right? So that's great advice.
Yeah, because you have a loved one that's, that's sick. Oh, they may do with COVID, the new thing, the crazy world we live in. If they're speaking that they're going to be super sick or may die, then I hate when I hear that, because why do you do that? Because that's dangerous. You doing that because you get your wish. Like, don't do that, man. So I try to tell people, don't speak it. Don't let that come out your mouth, because that's power.
It's power, but it also says there's life and death in the power of the tongue.
There you go.
It's a rudder that guides our ship.
Right.
Right. Could you, Russell Hantz, could you actually live on an island?
I couldn't if I didn't have one of my kids with me or something like that. I had because I'm a different type of guy. I don't need a relationship. I need my children. I need, it's just comfort. It's more comforting to me. Like, my son's with me all the time. He stays with me constantly. So, if I was supposed to live there forever, it would be miserable if I did it without someone I loved. Now, if it was like the show Alone, where they just let you out there and they keep you out there and you're alone forever until you get $1 million or you quit type of situation, I could do that. I would easily do that, but I couldn't do it forever. If there's a time limit in my head, I could do it. I just need someone that I truly love, like my child.
I get that. I can't even go a couple of weeks without seeing mine, and she's only 2 hours away. So I FaceTime her every day. Which I don't know. Were you allowed to FaceTime your loved ones, or was it just no communication for 6 weeks? Or how long was shooting? Was shooting 6 weeks?
39 days. No, they take your phone. Okay. It's about 50 days. From the time they take your phone is about 50 days to the time you come home. So with all the casting and everything in between, they'll tell you, we're coming to get your phone in 3 hours or whatever. And then you call all your people, you do what you want to do. But I'm completely okay with all that. I'm just saying, if it was forever, if I had to stay on. Now, if I could, I don't even think I'd want to do it because I want to travel. I want to travel a lot all around the world, and I want to stay there for months at a time. But in each place, like Thailand or, different places like that, and then come home and I have my kids again. It's just not, but you can't FaceTime. You can't do none of that stuff when you're out there. I mean, you don't have your phone. You're pretty serious when it comes to that.
I would imagine you made a lot of friends, though, that lasted. No? Just
not really.
Villain. The villain.
Yeah, he's the villain.
Oh, he's such a nice guy, though. It's not like you're.
I was so unliked. My first time I played like nobody's ever played in the game, and I shocked the world. I found idols without clues for the very first time, and they were all, I did what I had to do to get to the end. Then the second time I played with a bunch of superstars from the game, Survivor, Parvati, Rob, Sandra, Coach. I played with like legends of the game,
players,
and I made them all look stupid. So it was at the end of this Heroes and Villains, I was like the plague. They didn't even it was. I've always been popular, in high school. I was always outgoing. I played sports. I felt like this is so weird how nobody's talking to me, nobody's looking at me, everybody's walking away from me. It felt bad. It didn't feel good at all. So, but I did say, I was talking to the casting, I would go sit by the handlers and talk to them because nobody else talked to me. And I needed to do something. I needed to talk. And I was like, yeah, they're all going to hate me, but wait till this airs. They got more then, but I don't.
Even more.
But I didn't go out there to make friends, And I mean, I made friends along the way outside the game,
Yeah.
And but in the game, I was so aggressive. It's hard to. I tried a couple of times to talk to some people and try to be buddies with them, but it's just It's not how it works. And that when most of the time, most of the people there are from the LA area. Most of the people casted are from LA because they're
LA, yeah.
Lynn Spillman be walking on the street, see someone, say, "Hey, you want?" And you know the people over there. I mean, it's different. It's
Yeah, nobody ever asked me to go on this show. I would.
Because they say, "Do you want?" No, never mind.
I do know, and you're right. It's funny because people automatically. I was just talking about this. They automatically assume that I'm a certain way because I'm in quote Hollywood, and they don't really even know I'm not. You know, and they're shocked when they hear. You know,
anytime you want to train, do a special thing, and you and I, your daughter, whoever, can go out and spend 3 days with nothing but a flint and a torp and see what happens.
I can do it because I actually grew up in my dad had property in Mendocino, and so we would literally cook in the fire. We'd sleep in the back of the truck. We didn't, I'm a small town girl at heart, and I would love to, and I keep saying this, get back to just living on a farm and not living in or near a city. That's my perfect scenario. And someday that will happen. But as far as this game goes, Survivor, what was your worst moment ever that just resonates in your soul on the show?
I mean, the not dealing with the physical aspect, like more of a mental thing, was the last tribal council for Heroes versus Villains. When you can watch it, I can't even watch it now. I can't watch how they just attack me. And I just played 2 times in a row. I gave my heart and soul to this game. I did everything I had to do to get to the end. I'm sitting here, you're not, and everybody just taking it so personal and just attacking me. I was that close to standing up, pointing at every single one of them, screw you, and walk and say, that's it, and walk out.
Wow.
Last tribal. This is when they were saying who's going to win the $1 million. This was it. It was so draining. When I got off, and I don't do drugs, never have. When I got off of my second time playing, I went up to the doctor and I said, I could not stop thinking. My head would not stop, because you got to realize two times in a row, all I was doing was strategic. Yeah. This, that, I'm going to do this, different ways of doing it, different ways of thinking. Who am I going to talk to? Who stabbed me in the back? Like, just the whole thing. And I went up to the doctor and said, you have to give me something to stop thinking. Like, I need to relax. I have to relax. I can't. And then nobody's talking to me at this point at the airport. Nobody likes me no more. So she gave me Valium.
Yeah, it definitely is a mental thing. I mean, probably equally as physical, or even if not more. Sometimes mental is way more than physical. It takes us down more. It drains us more than physical. Sometimes.
I mean, a mental thing. The mentally part of it can ruin everything. Yeah. I lost everything when I got off Survivor. I lost everything. I got divorced, everything. The mental aspect of that did all that, not the physical part. I mean, you can get over the physical part. Nobody's ever died on Survivor, so on American Survivor. But the mental aspect of it, I wasn't prepared. I'm not an actor. I'm not I don't know what this is coming home and all of a sudden, not only was I not trying to boast or anything, but not only was I on a TV show, I was the most popular ever to play overnight, and I did it 2 times in a row, just like that. And I allowed that to suck into me and get the best of me. Well, you were Insta famous. It was Insta famous. You were on all the magazines and on all the news, and it's a lot to go from, I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know how to deal with that. Now it would be different if I played again. If I decided to play again, then it would be totally different now. Totally different. I'm a totally different. I would play, and I'll go on saying I would play if I only got to play with you as a team member,
and we could be voted off together, but I wouldn't stay on that island without you, Russell. I would play if they had teams that could go on the island.
I'm known to this is another bad thing. It may sound good, but if you're going out there to play the game, and I was always a team player, I was always into sports and everything else. So when I established and it shows as I play the game, my Final Four in FOA, the first time I played the game, season 19, went to the Final 5. So my Final Four was we're in the top 3. My two I was with Parvati and Danielle. We was in the top 7. So my whole thing about that is when I attach to someone, I try to protect them. Even though I get into a different character and try to be that person, I'm still a dad, and I still try to protect. I cannot get that out of who I am. I can become someone, but there's still that person, still that dad inside of me where I want to protect. I'd take my pants off and give it to my alliance, and I'd sleep. I would think, oh, my kid was here, man, I wouldn't eat nothing. If my kids were there, I wouldn't eat nothing because I'd give them my food.
Yeah, of course.
So
yeah. Well, have they come to you and said, "Hey, we want you to"?
They came to me season 40 and said, "Hey, we want
40 season."
And then, but that just happened, and then they changed the theme. They changed the theme to all winners, and I didn't win, so I didn't qualify once they changed the theme. I know they're going to call. The problem is, will I play again? And there's going to be things in place this time. I mean, they made all this money off of me. I'm gonna ask for a check, number one, because I'm not doing this for free no more. When you're making hundreds of millions, and you use my name over and over.
So the runners up don't get anything. The runner up gets a attaboy. You did a great job. You got
Pat on the back.
I wouldn't say this, but this is already public knowledge. The winner gets $1 million. Second place gets 100,000.
Okay, so they got
100,000. Fourth place gets, so it goes down along the line.
Right.
Which is a proper way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a big jump between first and second place, though.
Yeah,
well,
100 is still a good little chunk of change.
Yeah, it is good, and I still think you're right. That's one of the things that people I don't think they realize. And having come from the acting world, and then I kind of went from the acting over to the reality. The acting world, there's a union in place that it does protect you and your likeness to monetize off of who you are and your strengths. And
that happened once. I flipped off. That happened. It was like, what's up with this? Everybody getting food at certain times. Y'all guys are pampered.
Well, that's the thing is when you're in reality world, it's not like that. There's no union in place. They can work you long hours, and they can use your name over and over and over, and you don't get compensated adequately for it. And there's no residuals, so they can use the show over and over and over again. So I get it. It's a totally different animal. And when you've built up a brand like you have, Russell, you have a name and a brand for yourself, definitely that's not unrealistic for you to.
Well, what about you?
Pursue.
Were you out of the acting thing?
Well, I'm an actress, and I took a lot of years off, and then I went back and I did Beverly Hills Pawn, and that was reality. I would prefer not doing reality, although if I was asked to go on an island and be your partner to the end, I'd go.
Maybe
you heard it here.
I heard it here.
Yes. We could do.
I'm very resourceful, and I was a brownie and a Girl Scout, and I know how to tie knots and light fires with flints, and I am an excellent cook with whatever you give me. So
let's say they had some girl, she's 75 pounds like Courtney, and you was doing a challenge, and you had to run straight over her to get to the other side. Would you do that?
I mean, yeah, if it's the game and you have to. Yeah,
you gotta. That's what I was good at. I was good at jumping into that character that I never knew I had.
You have to stay in the game.
Got to stay in the game, and a lot of people don't do that. Got to say that's the advice that I would give. That stay in, keep focused.
Stay in the game. I mean, that's the thing is, so you've got to stay. I get that. I've been a team player?
Before I played my first time, I talked to my buddy. He played, and I was pacing in the hotel room, saying, "Okay, I'm going to suffer. I know I'm going to be cold. I know I'm going to be hungry. You got to do this. You just got to stay strong." I did that for hours, and that's how I would, instead of yoga, I would pray and do that type. That was my yoga.
Prayer. I love it.
Prayer and focusing on, positive. Well, just focusing, knowing it's going to hurt too.
Well, I was just going to say, it wouldn't be that I would understand that I would maybe have to run over somebody, but I would also understand that I may get run over as well.
Are you a physical type of girl? I mean, could you be a physical?
I'm not physical. I mean, I honestly, if I had to run over her that was 75 pounds, I'd probably look back and go, "I'm so sorry. Will you forgive me? But I'll see you at the end." And I'd probably cry about it, but I would still be in the game.
Now,
So
what if you had to run over somebody who was 200 pounds?
Well, I mean, the weight isn't the issue. It's
when you
more
run over
of
somebody,
like,
the weight's the issue.
well, listen, if you go on Survivor, you're there to play the game and you're there to win.
Runs over
So the
you.
claws come out.
What if one of the males run over you so hard, bust your nose, like you bleeding, like he just tears into you? Would you be like, "You shouldn't do that, I'm a girl"? Or would you be like, "We're playing a game"? Like, how would you feel about
Well,
that?
let me tell you, after both of my ex-husbands walked out after being married, I'm just saying this, I'm not upset anymore. I forgive them both. I wish them both well. But you haven't quite experienced any kind of pain until you've said "I do," and then they just leave for no reason. And so I would have rather have been punched in the face and had a bloody nose, a broken arm. I actually would have rather. So to your point, not a problem.
Yeah.
I think you can weather any storm when it's a matter of the heart for me personally. And not everybody has to think this way, but it's a matter of the heart. It's worse for me than an actual scrape or a cut or a push me down or whatever. But it's the game. It's Survivor. It's life, right?
I'd much rather be cut with a knife than have my heart broke. Much rather.
Ditto. I would too. Yeah, that's like,
That heals within 3-4 days, 5-6 days. Your heart's not going to heal you might go a year with that sucker hurting.
well, and sometimes the things that can happen to your heart can leave an indelible mark. And, so in answer to your question, yeah, I mean, I've never thought about actually going on that show, but I would only go if I could have a team member and it could be Russell. And because I
Beans and rice and Flint.
I actually eat beans and rice now. So
I mean, they could put it together. We both have podcasts,
I know, right? I know.
We podcast.
Just saying.
They do blood.
I may have to.
They do
They
blood.
what?
They do blood and water type seasons to where they let two people play together. It's usually, sometimes it's boyfriend and girlfriend, sometimes it's daughter and brother and sister, or or dad and daughter, or stuff like that. So,
Well,
I mean, you could be
let's
like
do this.
podcaster and podcaster.
Yeah. Well, I'm in. You heard it here.
Season of all podcasters.
The podcast Survivor Island of podcasters, right?
And it's surviving in LA.
Yeah, in LA, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I asked you what your worst moment was. What was your greatest moment?
My greatest moment in the actual game, was when I found an idol without a clue. But it happened 2 times. So it's just I wanted to say championship in football. None of that compares. It's like I just won the winning touchdown for the Super Bowl. Like, it was like so exciting. That there was so many great moments. And then when I played that idol, every single person voted for me to get off of the island. Like Jeff would say, "Russell, that vote does not count. Russell, that vote does not count. Russell." 8 times. So it was
the idol. Just for those who are listening and haven't watched Survivor, the idol means that you have immunity for that next voting round.
voted off. Right.
Right.
So it saved me, and that whole voting, the whole process to that idol, when the second idol was that process, but that whole process to that was pretty memorable. It was
That's
pretty
cool.
But
Yeah, you said don't, and I quote you, you said someone had just handed you an idol and you said you don't hand the enemy an idol.
yeah, from the other team. The other team
Yeah. They gave you one. I don't know, that's pretty smooth, Russell.
But his move, to give him credit, the move he made, he won an award for the dumbest move in Survivor history, and that was it. but they give awards for that nowadays. But it was, if that move would have worked, you see, it's just like love and hate. There's a fine line between love and hate, and that statement is real. In the world of Survivor, there's a fine line between a great survivor and a very bad survivor. Because if that move would have worked, he would have been one of the greatest of all times. If it would have actually worked. So it's like it just didn't work for him. I wouldn't say he's the dumbest player ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
He had his reasons. He had his thoughts behind that. Well, Russell, we have 3 questions. We have two questions in one. We have a little game we're playing here, which is kind of fun.
It's a psychiatric evaluation quiz.
Not really.
Yes, it is. It's used for psychologists.
Well, it's not really.
Russell, it's word association, but
it's word association. That's what.
You say not really. It was invented by psychiatrists.
Oh, are you okay?
No, I'm dying.
Oh, okay. Well,
are you?
No, I'm seriously. You're okay.
I had a cough.
Okay.
You made me so upset. I swallowed something.
I made him upset. Oh, it's my fault. First of all, 3 words that describe you.
3 words to describe me?
Yeah, tell us. Tell us.
Passionate. That's hard. That's a hard question for me. But definitely passionate. I am honest and loyal.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. I didn't even see his shirt. We belong
Did not see my shirt, Russell.
We belong on Survivor together.
We right here, right now. I'm telling you seriously, because that's probably one of mine that I would say about myself is loyal.
And by the way, people would think, what is he talking about? The worst villain ever? Just look at what I just said, you know. Passionate, definitely. I was loyal to my alliance to a fault. I gave my own alliance my idol. I handed it to her to save her. I saved her one tribal. She was getting voted out. I stood up and I handed her an idol to save herself and not me. So
wow, that's so crazy. First of all, I want to just say we have had 60 guests, and we've asked them all that same question. Not one of them has said loyal. The one day I wear the shirt that says, I've never worn this shirt before, ever. In my whole life, it was in my closet, and I was like, I'm going to pull this out.
You can see I
say loyal.
Laundry. Is it laundry day?
What's that?
You can see I can't see the shirt.
You can't see the shirt. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm sitting down here, but no, I had to sit up for you to see that it says, like, no, it's not laundry day. You're hilarious. Okay, we're going to do the word association, Russell.
All right, so Russell, just say the first word that comes in your mind after each word.
Life.
This is definitely a psychiatrist type test.
Yeah. Well, we used to do the Rorschach test, but I actually vetoed that and finally got my way on that. So now we have a new cool game, which I love.
You stole the images and took them home.
I did. I took them home. So that's resourceful. That's surviving. Life.
Maybe not.
Longevity.
Fear.
The devil.
Children.
Love.
Home.
Hope.
I'm sorry, repeat that when you get it.
Home. Hope.
Yeah. Hope.
Future.
Money.
Jungle.
Survivor.
Chicken.
Tree. Because I hit it.
Wait, what did he say?
Tree.
Tree. Yes. Okay. Those were good. I'm writing this down because this is Russell. This is the second time we played this test or whatever it is. So I like it, Bob. I'm very excited about this. And the last question I have for you.
But nobody
What's
gets
that?
He doesn't.
Nobody's done it. He doesn't do it for. Bob doesn't do it for me.
Not fair.
Well, you know what? How about if I come on your show,
Right?
and you can do.
And I'll give you the 7 words.
You'll give me the 7 words to do. Yeah.
Sounds like something. If you did that to someone you're about to go on a date with, you think it would change your mind and how they responded?
That's actually a really good question. Actually, that's a great question. And you know what? That's excellent. That would be an excellent show. I think we should host that.
Right.
Have 2 people go on a date and one person gives the other the
And
test.
you have like 20 words, and however they respond to those words gives you a chance
Then
to
the
see.
woman says yes or no. Yeah.
And she says yes or no. Huh. Right here. I heard it here. Russell, first I want to say, before I ask this last question, thank you for taking the time today. I know we've connected in our DMs, but I appreciate your time and you, and I'm a huge fan, and I know the real Russell because he's kind and loving and a great father and a good man, and just because you play a villain on TV doesn't mean that's who you are. You've played the game well, and you've created a name and a brand, and I hope to see more of you in that light. But my last question of the day is, who is, and it can be anyone, anything you want, and please don't feel obligated. Bob's laughing. Who's your celebrity crush?
That would be Johansson. What's her name?
Scarlett Johansson. Okay. Yes. She's beautiful.
Or the girl that played. In that Pawn show.
God, Beverly Hills Pawn. Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. Can you not hit that button?
At one time.
Thanks.
At one time, Scarlett Johansson was in like 6 of the top 10 grossing movies of all time.
Yeah, she's beautiful. I love her too. I do too. She's great. Well,
what about
I can't thank you.
We can't not hear that. Who's your celebrity crush? Since you're there in LA, should make it convenient. You could go hang out with them.
I don't really.
Tell me one. The
what's
people
that?
want to hear.
You know what's really funny though? I'll tell you this. What's really funny?
Does his name start with a G and end with Earl Butler?
No, honestly, and I'm not just saying this because you're on the camera right now. But if you were to ask any of my friends, like, this is my look. Is it not?
You are definitely her look.
You're definitely my look.
The beard,
100%. Everyone would say, "Oh, yes, it's like that kind of Duck Dynasty."
Oh,
that's my look.
Go to this podcast, they're gonna be having fun with this one.
With what?
They're gonna be having fun with that statement. But I appreciate
it's true. I'm actually not just saying that. Like, if you go even watch any of my other shows, you'll see that's my look. So I'll just go with you, Russell.
Okay, I'll take it.
Because you're a way bigger celebrity. I thank you so much for your time, and I hope that we can.
Wait a minute, you have to say Russell Hantz is my celebrity crush.
Oh, Russell Hantz is my celebrity crush.
Oh,
you know what I love when you.
Is this?
You want to just?
Oh no, this is not. This is a podcast and a YouTube thing.
Both? Yes. Oh yeah, it'll be audio and video.
I'm clipping.
You'll get a picture of it.
He goes, yep. I'm clipping that.
I'll send you that clip.
I'll send it to you.
With hearts around it, music.
Let's take a pause and you can do the whole. Can you push that button?
I'm gonna put it on my.
Ready?
On YouTube.
Okay. Russell, this is for you.
Russell Hantz is my celebrity crush. You know what?
Well, that was worth getting up today, huh, Russell?
Send that to Mark Burnett.
Right? We might be playing together after all.
Listen, I'm in. I'm in. I'm gonna have to start doing some sit-ups though.
Yeah,
Give me a
you're
couple weeks to prepare, because they put those girls in next to nothing. Like and I might just say this for the record. There's one thing I don't
They
like
don't put
being.
that. They wear what you if you wanted to wear whatever you want to wear, you say I'm wearing this. They'll tell you a color. Them girls getting that because they getting that. They don't tell you to
I
walk.
see.
They don't tell you to walk around in your underwear.
Well, it's not very
So you
smart
could
then,
walk
because
up. She could go on the island with an 1850s a school teacher outfit.
Yep.
you want to know what I'd go on the island with? I'll tell you right now, I'd go on the island with. I wouldn't wear it all the time, but I'd go on the island with a puffer jacket and some sweats, so that at night you gotta think ahead. You can wear that to bed.
You should wear your
You
Beverly
can only
Hills
have a
outfit.
certain amount of clothes. Like you would get casted as probably the actress from LA, whatever. So that's how you would be cast typed as that person. So I don't know how you guys dress over there.
I'm in literally, like, honestly, most of the time I just run around in Lulu's and a t-shirt.
Do you think that LA gets a bad rap in the
Yes.
relationship world of LA?
Honestly, that's a really good question, Russell. And I do feel it gets a bad rap, but I also feel like this business, if you choose to go into it, you have to understand that you're going to be like what you do when you go out of, for 39 to 50 days, you're away from your loved ones. You're not at home in a routine, and it can take its toll on a relationship. And Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman said it best. Joanne said, there could only be one actor in the family because the relationship was going to suffer. Wow. And I think that you have to have a real strong faith in God and your commitment to sustain a relationship. I gave up acting for my first marriage. He left 3.5 years later. I would have stayed and I would still be married to him and would have given it up for it, because, that's obviously more important than a movie or whatever. But yeah, I think it's difficult. It's a difficult business. And I think people tend to fall in love really easily and quickly and discard that. That's, to me, I take it seriously and the vows seriously. So that's an interesting question. People ask that all the time. But I think, you have to know where you come from and value. And I say this because you have to value the institution of marriage more than anything else. And I do. I just have been unlucky at it. But
you're such a good actress. You cannot let any of that deter you from, because everyone wants to see you on the screen again. So I'd love to see you do something else like that. So
Thank
if
you.
it comes along, would you want to do it again? I know this is turning into podcasting.
Yeah. No, not at all. I appreciate you actually asking me a question. I'm thankful. I would definitely, absolutely, I will do it again. It's been kind of weird and crazy because of, this pandemic.
Right.
That's why Bob and I started this podcast 5.5 months ago, 6 months ago, 7 months ago.
Right.
But yes, I would. I love it. I think it's, definitely in the future. I'm just kind of waiting to see where is this all going,
Yeah.
But I'll be your partner in whatever Survivor game we
Never know.
Never know, Russell. Well, we love you and we thank you so much. And tell those babies of yours I said hello. And even though they're not babies anymore, right? They grow up fast. And I always say this, and it sounds like you have a good handle on this. Children spell love Time. So I'm with you when it comes to whoever you'd want to be on an island with. It would be my child too.
Right.
So
for sure.
Yeah. Well, you're amazing. Thank you.
You have to be on his podcast now.
I will. I'll definitely go on your podcast.
Well, it'd probably be more of a YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Follow my YouTube channel, The Russell Hantz Show.
Okay. We'll put that at the bottom.
It's already up.
Oh, it's already up there. Okay, Russell. Love you.
Thank you, Russell.
I'm posting that on my Instagram that you said that. So everybody can be like, wait, what? What's going on here?
Yeah. Do it. Start a rumor.
I'll get you on some.
And we're out.
Attention Nashville, Tennessee area drivers. Commodore Express has openings for Class A CDL drivers. Teams run California and back weekly, approximately 4,500 miles per week, and have a flexible time-off policy. Solos for local and regional runs, always close to home, out and back operation, and enjoy plenty of home time. We offer full benefits and above-average pay depending on experience. Visit our website, CommodoreExpress.net, to learn more about us, request an application, or call Robert in recruiting at 615-287-5140.
The Coriolis Effect is produced by JS Productions, with host Cory Oliver, producer-editor Bob Victor, and assistant editor Cade Bombsell.
Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver, and thank you for watching The Coriolis Effect. We hope you enjoyed the previous episode. Here are some more episodes you might enjoy. Hit the subscribe button below, and have a great day.